Look what Olivia did with some of the blossoms from my trees out in the Wonderland. Isn't that beautiful? Hoping to drag myself out there this morning and see them for myself. Well, hello there. Welcome to Frugal Mama Gardens. My name is Julie, and yes, all of the formerly Frugal Family garden stuff, all of the gardening will now be here on this channel. I am someone who is recovering from several injuries and major operations, and also I am dealing with a long-term degenerative disease, and I think this is the place to show my gardening and how I use it as a therapy, as exercise and mobility, and as something to just, well, fill my soul as a semi-ambulatory person living with chronic pain and degeneration. I love gardening, and I'm bringing you along for it. So let's jump in, let's tuck in to our spring garden. All of the tulips are coming up and doing their thing. This fall, I really want to plant just copious amounts of tulips of different varieties, different colors. They are spreading really well on their own, doing their own propagation, which I'm so excited about, so grateful for. But I think it would just be absolutely fabulous to add a whole bunch more. I also want to add in some more daffodils. I have lots of the white ones, and they're the kind of late bloomers, which is wonderful because they're still doing their thing when the tulips come out, which is just lovely. Look at that. Come on. That's beautiful. But I do also want more of the yellow and orange varieties, the earlies, because, well, just to make the initial weeks of spring more colorful, more enjoyable. I love the way that these white ones are propagating. They're just spreading all over the place. I did not put all these in. Nope. Same with the tulips. But I am absolutely, this fall, going to add a whole bunch more in here. It's going to be, it's going to be wonderful. It's just going to be wonderful. Hopefully today I will pull weeds. No guarantees, but hopefully. And maybe Kitty will hang out with me while I do. Kitty! Kitty! Preciosa! Gatita! Hey! Hey! Hey, honey. Hey, sweetie. You ready for a beautiful day? I know I am. Weeds. I am not committing to getting all of the weeds, but my goal, well, my commitment is this corner bed. We are going to start with very realistic, attainable goals and commitments, and then go from there. There's a lot more. There's so much more. But this is what I am committing to. And believe it or not, it will make a difference. And then most likely, I'll keep going. All right. I still have grass shoots to pull that don't belong where they are, but I did get the other weeds, and I feel really good about that. And then I even cleared some over here, which has me thinking about my future plans. I do have lots of irises, and I love their show, late spring, early summer. Absolutely love them, but then they're just kind of thuggish the rest of the year throughout the garden, especially over in here. They just kind of, well, they get tall and they stay tall, and they don't want to let anything else, have its time in the sun. So I have a thought that I'm going to pull all of the irises and only have them in a few certain areas. Try to keep them maybe there at the back, here at the back, and then here at the back, because they are excellent for ground cover and limiting weeds. I can see like one weed that has infiltrated this group of irises right here, this clump of irises. But overall, yeah, they're really good at keeping the weeds at bay and filling in spaces. But I don't like that they take up, the sunlight and the space everywhere else. So my thought is to pull all of them and put some, you know, in here, and then possibly as I get that garden finally, the site of the tragedy, the accident last year where I destroyed my foot, maybe we'll have some over there as well. I'm not sure. We'll wait, of course, obviously, till after they've done their show for the year. It might not even be till fall, but it's going to happen. I think I will go ahead and clear these weeds right here and the rest back here in this corner, and then honestly evaluate how I'm feeling, how my foot is doing. I have my awesome new Mow Warm garden kneeler bench with me, so I will rest as needed. The hyacinths have wrapped up their show, so I'm going to go ahead and chop the flowers off, but leave the stems and the foliage for quite some time so that they can gain some more strength for next year. I do need to get new soil going, some topsoil. Lots of places throughout the garden desperately need it, but I do not see that happening before our Disneyland trip, and it'll probably be okay that it isn't happening before then. I think we'll be all right. I think the irises, though, wouldn't that be lovely to have them kind of covering this kind of ugly space here, and then work in rocks kind of to, well, for one, to keep the irises at bay because they will spread, and then to build up something beautiful right here. I had the pumpkin on a ladder here last year and then had it wrapping around, and that was gorgeous, but I don't think that's what I'm going to do this year. You know me, a self-taught gardener, watching lots of Monty Don and Carol Klein and Gardener's World. That's where I'm learning anything that I'm learning, and through lots of experimentation, trial, and error. Let's pick a few of these. Ooh. It's so satisfying, and especially with good healthy soil like this that I've kept nice and loose, easy to remove these knotty bits. I call this success. Absolutely. I'm thinking I'm going to move this broken pot maybe over here, have it kind of lay in this way, so that my little mini rose can get more airflow, more sunshine. It's already doing really well, but I would love to just see it go crazy, you know. Okay, that was a bit of an effort. Whew, but I got it moved over. I'm not sure that that's the exact position it's going to be. I maybe want to tilt it to the right and up a little bit. We will, of course, see what Kitty thinks of it. But I like that we've opened that up over there. I am tempted to actually build kind of a little retaining wall with some of the rocks and actually put the rows up higher, maybe, because I don't like that this slopes so much. Once I have like irises and everything filling in there, it probably wouldn't matter anyway, and I will probably move the rose bush over here. Oh, I don't know, because the hollyhocks get so big, so tall, that they have no problem fighting and standing up against the irises. But for my young rose, I don't think that's ideal. So I'm thinking I will move the rose over here, and yeah, kind of build that area up a little bit, at least to the window well right there. Now, of course, I have the mess to clean up. We have some dandelions going on. I have left them as long as I have been willing to, and especially now that so many other flowers are coming up and doing their thing, I am going to dig out the dandelions. I went ahead and put in my handy little pockets here my dandelion tool. So that will be the last thing that I do this morning. Well, I'll dig up the dandelions and then gather up the mess, clean that up. If I have any energy left and if my foot is not absolutely screaming at me, then I will head over yonder and pull some of the weeds that I can see from here over there. I do also want to add a couple of stones from over there to the border of this kind of higgledy-piggledy bed I've got here, but I will be incredibly careful. Olivia was like, I just showered her. How does she get all dirty and stinky so fast? Well, I now have a video answer. She's such a jungle cat. Look how well she hides. God, I love that cat. Can you imagine being able to move like that? My goodness. I was able to get several of the dandelions pulled. I will need to bring in some grass seed and some grass feed, maybe a feed and seed, anyhow, and fill in the spaces. Oh, I will get to the last of these. I will, before we go out of town. I don't know that I will get the reseeding done before we go. I highly doubt it, in fact. Oh, but you never know. It could absolutely happen. I'm not going to put that as a priority or a requirement for myself because I know better. I love that Kitty wants to be out with me while I do my work. She might not always be right next to me. Yeah, she's got things to explore, things to do, a patrol and such. But she's out here with me. And she'll inspect what I do. Ooh, that just reminded me, I do need to trim the topiary. I absolutely want to have that done before we leave. Well, I was able to get up all the dandelions. We did it. It took a long time, lots of resting in between, but I have gotten it done. I will tell you, my friends, having help like this, just a bench, having a chair, a place to sit, you know, as you need to. It's so incredibly helpful. I do think, though, I also need to have my cane with me, especially when I'm trying to traverse the uneven ground and the rocks and all of that. I think that would be wise. Gardening is such a wonderful thing. Now, in my opinion, gardening is good for anyone and everyone. But when you have physical limitations, disabilities, you're semi-ambulatory, whether permanently or in the short term as you're recovering from something, or even, you know, something progressive like my rheumatoid arthritis. Gardening is an amazing form of exercise. I remember my younger days running crazy long distances, insane amounts, and wild aerobic videos and all of those things that right now I'm just not able to do, if ever again. I do hope to be hiking again very soon. The doctor did say that next month, well, more towards the end of next month, that'd be May. Oh no, this is May. Oh my Lord, it is May. Oh, good grief. Anyway, but hopefully by the end of May, I should be able to do some really light, very limited incline, smooth trail kinds of hiking. But in the meantime, and forever, gardening is an amazing workout. And it feeds you, not just physically with, you know, building your strength, but mentally and emotionally. I mean, you know, it does. It's such a wonderful, fulfilling hobby, task, exercise, pleasure, and treat. And I'm grateful to be able to do it. There's not a massive load of things to do over in this area. There are some weeds, especially through there. I pulled a few over here, and then there are these grass patches that need to get pulled out, dug out, and I will do that. But over here, the main thing, I mean, oh, look, there's a couple of weeds. The main thing is just putting in new soil. And I will be doing potting mix in here. I just found that it worked so well last year, and we just had an amazing show over here. So I am going to do that again, add more potting mix, and continually feed everything really well. I'm going to harvest these chives. They'll pop right back up again, but it's definitely in need of some harvesting. Yes, already. I'm going to work on shaping this juniper, and also this arborvitae topiary. I want to get it more of the ball shape that I'm going for with that. But really, yeah, a couple of weeds and then just adding more soil over here. I may add other plants in here, but not anytime soon. The big task is this. Many of you will know, remember that this is the location of my incident last June. Yeah, we're coming up on a year since I completely destroyed my foot. It's, I don't know, I don't really want to deal with the emotions of it right now, but there are a lot of emotions all of a sudden jumping up. We'll deal with those later, but this all needs to be taken apart and the rocks moved elsewhere and this figured out, whatever it is that we're going to do here. You know that we chopped down the tree that was here because it was, you know, destroying everything. So time to start working on, well, what's actually going to happen here. And I do need to use these rocks, some of them anyway, in several of the other things that I'm doing in the yard. My goal is to work on this in June as sort of a milestone, something, a celebration, if you will, but also to face some fear. I will have lots of help working on that, but I am going to myself go ahead and pluck up any garbage that I see and the weeds through here and dump this bag of soil in right here. And when we get back from Disney, I will order more potting soil and topsoil, and we'll get a lot of this going. Again, with the irises, I just don't know. These ones are gorgeous. There's purples and pinks, you know, and they're lovely, but they really do kind of take over. So I'm not sure if I'll keep any in here. It really does seem smart to me to, when we have this figured out, to move a bunch of them over into here. I'm also noticing that many of my perennials need to be divided. For instance, these pin cushions, that's this right here with their beautiful purple flowers. Yeah, those, my goodness, they do so well, and they spread. I've got more over here, and I have divided them in the past, but obviously I'm going to have to divide them again. I've got more over there that are all from starting with one single plant. So that's going to be on the list. Will that happen before summer? I don't know. Maybe after their first show, if we have some good weather, because they'll rebloom and rebloom and rebloom as long as you keep deadheading. But then moving them will probably shock them enough that, you know, we probably wouldn't get a show again till fall if we're lucky to even get that. So I think I want to wait till they have done their first show and then probably go ahead and do some dividing and moving around. Going to trade our snow shovels for rakes. Going around and trying to pick all of that up off the ground is not going to be a good idea for me. I should, and sometimes I'm good about it, but not always, and definitely not today. I should go around with, you know, a basket or a tote with me to put all the weeds and the clippings in, but I didn't do it. So the next best thing is to get a rake and clean it up that way rather than to try to go around and just gather it up, you know, by hand. So I am going to trade out the snow shovels for the rakes, but they are out in the shed and that is quite a ways away. I don't think I'm up to it yet, but I will at least take them to the driveway. When you are doing yard work of any kind, gardening and such, it is so important to honor your body's limits. Listen to your body. If it's saying, you know what, Julie, right now we are not taking those 3 snow shovels and that ladder out to the shed, then we're not doing it. Yes, I need the rake. I want the rake, but I'm listening to my body. How about that? Being smart. And it is saying it's time to go rest. So that's what I'm going to do. But I did at least get them off the porch and gathered, and they're all right here. It's a start.